Welcome back to Story Space, where mysteries unfold and the supernatural comes to life. Today, I have a spine tingling tale that will leave you questioning the boundaries of our reality. So, sit back, relax, and prepare to be immersed in a world where the unexplained reigns supreme. In June of 2019, an 18-year-old girl named Bella concluded her first year in college and returned home for the summer. Her family resided just outside a small town in France, nestled in the mountains and surrounded by a vast forest. Growing up, Bella spent much of her time in this forest, either alone, with her father, or other family members. Consequently, she was intimately familiar with its terrain. Her favorite spot within the forest was a man-made lake situated somewhat centrally. Although not expansive, the lake offered a serene and picturesque view, which Bella found particularly appealing. To reach it, she would leave her house, drive a couple of miles down the road, and park along the shoulder. There were no signs indicating the path to the lake. Instead, Bella and her family had discovered a particular trail that led there. Exiting her car, Bella would walk away from the road, directly into the trees. Soon, she would emerge from the thick underbrush into a clearing where a small stream flowed. Off to the left, she would spot what appeared to be a worn footpath, but was actually an animal trail, carved out over time by the passage of creatures through the area. Bella would follow this path, which ran parallel to the stream. After walking for about 15 or 20 minutes, the animal path would sharply veer left, away from the stream. At this point, Bella would leave the animal path and continue following the stream, sometimes stepping on rocks within the stream or walking along its banks when possible. She would proceed due north, deeper into the heart of the forest for about an hour at a leisurely pace until the stream merged with an east to west running river. Bella would then turn left, facing west, and follow the riverbank for about 20 minutes until it reached the man-made lake. There, she would find a comfortable spot, often sitting on a rock to admire the view, observe wildlife, and immerse herself in the sounds of nature. Eventually, she would retrace her steps back to her car. For context, one leg of this journey, either from the car to the lake or vice versa, typically took about 2 hours. Bella cherished her time in the woods and at the lake, as it felt like her own sanctuary. Prior to that summer in 2019, she had only encountered other family members in the forest or near the lake, contributing to its sense of privacy and personal connection. In June of that year, Bella returned home from college and promptly felt the pull to visit the man-made lake, having been away for months while attending school. Eager to reconnect with her cherished retreat, one morning she rose early, set out alone from her house, drove the short distance down the road, and parked her car on the shoulder, ready to embark on her familiar journey. Bella parked her car and stepped out, turning away from the road to enter the forest. She easily found the stream and began walking along the animal path that ran parallel to its side. As she walked, she observed the lush surroundings and listened to the soothing sounds of nature. After a few minutes, the trail veered to the left, but Bella decided to continue following the stream, feeling drawn to its tranquil presence. About 30 minutes later, still immersed in the beauty of the forest, Bella was suddenly startled by the clear sound of a bell chiming in the distance. It was a single chime, echoing through the trees and catching her off guard. Surprised by the unexpected sound, Bella stopped in her tracks, her senses heightened by the unusual occurrence. Intrigued by the sound of the bell, Bella paused to listen more intently, her mind racing with possibilities. She considered the idea of a lost dog with a bell on its collar, but the sound seemed too robust for such a scenario. As the ringing continued, Bella pondered alternative explanations, wondering if perhaps someone had left a bell inside a floating box that had drifted downstream and was now causing the sporadic ringing. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the source of the sound, Bella felt a sense of curiosity and adventure stirring within her. Determined to unravel the mystery, she made the decision to continue walking in the direction of the bell, eager to discover its origin. With each step, her anticipation grew, fueling her resolve to uncover the truth behind the enigmatic sound echoing through the forest. She remained attuned to the sound of the bell, contemplating its origin and potential significance. After approximately 5 minutes of resuming her journey, The bell suddenly ceased, startling Bella with its abrupt silence. She paused, expecting it to resume, but was met only with the peaceful sounds of nature surrounding her. Though puzzled by the unexpected silence of the bell, Bella chose not to dwell on it, trusting that there must be a logical explanation for its cessation. Resuming her walk, she redirected her focus towards reaching the lake, a serene destination awaiting her amidst the forest. About 10 or 15 minutes later, Bella continued her trek along the stream, still some distance away from the east-west running river. As she approached a section of the stream on her left, she noticed a shape lying on the ground ahead. Uncertain of its nature, she cautiously approached and discovered a beaver lying motionless, its head missing. In a forest teeming with wildlife, encounters with deceased animals were not uncommon. However, what struck Bella as peculiar was the remarkably precise and clean cut around the beaver's neck, indicating deliberate and methodical removal rather than a predatory attack. Moreover, the absence of any disturbance to the rest of the beaver's body suggested a purpose other than predation. Observing the scene, Bella noted the lack of any accompanying foul odor, indicating that the beaver's demise had occurred recently. Upon gently prodding the body, she confirmed the absence of rigor mortis, signifying a recent death. Realizing that the perpetrator of this act may still be nearby, Bella felt a surge of unease. The proximity of the beaver's body to the area where she had heard the bell earlier heightened her apprehension. Scanning the surrounding forest for any signs of activity, Bella felt a sense of growing unease and uncertainty. However, she admonished herself to remain calm, despite the rising panic within her, and continued to search for answers amidst the tranquil expanse of the forest. Of broad daylight, Bella reassured herself of the safety of her surroundings. With years of familiarity with these woods, she had never encountered another soul or faced any threat from predatory animals. Confident in her well-being, she nonchalantly stepped over the beaver carcass and continued her journey along the stream. Eventually, Bella reached the east-west running river, where she turned left and strolled alongside it for about 20 minutes until she arrived at the beloved man-made lake. There, she indulged in the serene beauty of the scenery before deciding to retrace her steps back to her car. Passing by the motionless beaver once more, she made her way home without incident. A week later, overcome with boredom, Bella impulsively resolved to revisit the tranquil sanctuary of the man-made lake. After informing her parents of her plans, she embarked on her journey at 6 p.m., acutely aware of the approaching sunset at 9 p.m. Determined to avoid being caught in the woods after dark, she hastened her pace along the familiar animal trail, following the stream closely. As Bella pressed on towards her destination, she noticed the distant rumble of thunder and observed the darkening skies overhead. Despite the looming storm, her resolve to reach the lake remained unwavering. Ignoring the worsening weather, she broke into a jog, determined to reach her cherished destination before the storm intensified. With each step, the rain began to fall more heavily, soaking Bella to the bone. Passing by the motionless beaver carcass once more, which remained undisturbed by the elements, Bella pressed onward, her determination unyielding. Approximately 15 minutes later, as she approached the east-west running river, the rain intensified into a relentless downpour, enveloping her in its deluge. Determination, Bella paused at the river and contemplated her next move. With only a short distance remaining to reach the man-made lake, she hesitated, realizing the implications of pressing forward. Glancing at her watch, she noted the time, after 8 p.m., and weighed her options. The realization dawned upon her that continuing to the lake and back in the dark would prolong her stay in the forest, potentially placing her in a perilous situation, especially with the pouring rain and decreasing visibility. Recognizing the risks, Bella reluctantly decided to turn back, retracing her steps alongside the east-west running river. As she made her way back towards her car, she kept her gaze fixed on the ground, navigating the treacherous terrain carefully to avoid tripping. The pounding rain obscured her surroundings, forcing her to concentrate on maintaining her footing. After about 15 minutes of walking, Bella's concentration was broken by a sudden impact on the top of her head. Startled, she instinctively looked up, shielding her face, only to come face to face with a grotesque sight: a beaver carcass suspended from a branch above her, its head stitched onto its front paws. Overwhelmed by revulsion, Bella recoiled, her initial reaction bordering on nausea. Hastily, she checked her hair for any traces of the decomposing creature's fluids. As Bella processed the macabre scene before her, a chilling realization set in. Someone had orchestrated this grisly display within the past half hour. Panic surged within her as she scanned the darkening forest, searching for any signs of the perpetrator. With darkness closing in and the relentless rain obscuring her surroundings, Bella's fear escalated. Unable to shake the feeling of being watched, she desperately sought reassurance, muttering to herself in a bid to calm her frayed nerves. Bella knew she had to tread cautiously. Suppressing the urge to run, she forced herself to maintain a steady pace, albeit the growing dread gnawing at her. Passing the ghastly sight of the beaver carcass, she shuddered, sensing an ominous presence lurking behind her. Though she resisted the urge to look back, her instincts screamed danger, urging her to flee. As she continued along the stream, a sense of foreboding intensified. The hairs on her neck stood on end, and the rustling of movement behind her sent a chill down her spine. Fear threatened to overwhelm her, urging her to break into a panicked sprint. Succumbing to terror, she bolted, propelled by sheer desperation to outrun the unseen threat. Gasping for breath, Bella stumbled to a halt after several minutes of frantic flight. Despite her exhaustion, the eerie sound of the bell pierced through the darkness, its haunting chime echoing through the forest. Panic-stricken and disoriented, she fumbled for her phone, dialing her father in a frenzied attempt to summon help. Tears streamed down her face as she relayed her terror-stricken plea for assistance, her voice trembling with fear. Hearing her daughter's distress, Bella's father wasted no time, promising to rush to her aid without hesitation. With her parents on the line, Bella clung to a sliver of hope as she waited for their arrival. Meanwhile, Bella's parents, alarmed by her frantic call, sprang into action. Racing to the forest with a sense of urgency, they could hear the distant tolling of the bell, a grim reminder of their daughter's peril. Driven by parental instinct, they navigated the darkened woods, their hearts pounding with dread as they raced to reach Bella. In the depths of the forest, Bella's terror only intensified as she struggled to maintain her faltering pace. With each labored step, she prayed for her parents' swift arrival, knowing that her safety hinged on their timely intervention. Bella strained to push forward, her parents' presence drawing nearer. Yet, the unsettling sound of the sporadic bell grew increasingly louder, signaling that whatever pursued her was closing in. Branches snapped behind her, amplifying her fear as she approached her breaking point. Finally, with the ominous sound of the bell looming ominously behind her, she resigned herself to face the looming threat. In a moment of sheer terror, Bella turned to confront the entity trailing her, her breaths shallow and labored. As she scanned the moonlit clearing, a tall, dark figure emerged, a bell adorning its waist, its every step resonating with a violent clang. Paralyzed by fear, Bella struggled to comprehend the surreal sight before her, instinctively recognizing the imminent danger it posed. Summoning every ounce of adrenaline-fueled resolve, Bella's body surged into action, propelling her into a desperate sprint. The deafening toll of the bell echoed through the forest, each ring a chilling reminder of her pursuer's relentless advance. Frantically, she cried out, fabricating a desperate plea for help, though she knew no one would come to her aid. Meanwhile, Bella's father, driven by paternal instinct, refused to remain idle. Racing into the woods, guided by the harrowing sound of his daughter's screams, he plunged into the darkness, determined to rescue her from the unseen menace. With every stride, his heart pounded with a mix of dread and determination, his only thought to reach his daughter's side. As Bella's panicked sprint led her closer to her father's rescue, relief washed over her as she stumbled into his waiting arms. Without hesitation, he whisked her away from the forest's grasp, fleeing with her and her mother to safety. Overwhelmed by a potent mix of fear and disbelief, they fled into the night, leaving behind the haunting echoes of the bell and the lingering terror of their ordeal. Bella struggled to articulate her encounter with the mysterious figure, her words failing to capture the sheer terror she had experienced. Meanwhile, her parents, who had been anxiously listening to her screams over the phone, could only echo each other's shocked realization. I heard the bell. Driven by the conviction that their daughter had indeed faced a threat in the woods, Bella's parents wasted no time. They immediately escorted her to the police station, where she recounted her harrowing ordeal. Following this, they took her to the hospital for a thorough examination, relieved to find that aside from minor injuries sustained during her frantic flight, she was physically unharmed. The next day, law enforcement launched an extensive search of the forest, scouring the area Bella had described. However, their efforts yielded no trace of the elusive figure or any corroborating evidence. The beaver carcass, along with Bella's discarded handbag, had vanished without a trace. The only anomaly they discovered was a neatly folded t-shirt beneath a rock, its significance eluding both Bella and the authorities. Despite the police's conjecture that Bella may have encountered a mentally unstable individual, she remained unconvinced. To her, the encounter felt far more sinister, a brush with mortal danger that had only been averted by her father's timely intervention. The memory of the figure's unnatural movements lingered in her mind, fueling her conviction that she had faced something beyond human. Since the incident, there have been no reported sightings or disturbances in the woods. However, Bella and her family no longer venture into those secluded depths, leaving the enigmatic presence to dwell undisturbed in its secluded domain. And there you have it, another chilling tale from Story Space. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel for more intriguing stories, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to ring that bell icon to stay updated on our latest uploads. Until next time, stay curious, stay spooky, and stay tuned for the next thrilling adventure. Thank you for watching.